The sun was dipping low in the sky, casting long shadows through the towering trees of the forest. I had always been drawn to nature, and this particular weekend, I was ready for an adventure. With a backpack full of snacks and my trusty camera slung over my shoulder, I set off on a hiking trail that wound through the heart of the Pacific Northwest. The air was crisp and filled with the earthy scent of pine, and I felt a sense of peace wash over me as I navigated the winding path. As I trekked deeper into the woods, the sounds of civilization faded away. The only sounds that accompanied me were the rustling leaves and the occasional chirp of a bird. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe for more, and tell me where you are watching from today. I always find it awesome to see where all my viewers are watching from. Let's get back to the video. It felt like entering another world, one untouched by time. I had read stories about Bigfoot, the elusive creature said to roam these very forests, but I had always dismissed them as mere folklore. Yet on this day, something in the atmosphere felt different, charged with an energy I couldn't explain. After walking for a couple of hours, I reached a clearing where sunlight poured through the branches, creating patterns on the forest floor. It was here that I decided to take a break. As I plopped down onto a fallen log, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. My heart raced, not just from the hike, but from an instinctual awareness that something was near. I turned to scan my surroundings, half expecting to see a deer or some other wildlife. Instead, my eyes landed on a large figure standing in the shadows at the edge of the clearing. It was tall and covered in dark fur, blending seamlessly with the trees. My breath caught in my throat as disbelief washed over me. Was this really happening? Could it be Bigfoot? For a moment, we stood frozen in time. Me, staring in awe, and it, seemingly unfazed by my presence. The creature took a step forward, and despite its intimidating size, there was something undeniably curious in its posture. My heart pounded even louder as it approached slowly. What happened next felt surreal. Instead of fleeing or attacking, which were the two outcomes my mind frantically imagined, Bigfoot simply sat down across from me on another log, maintaining eye contact. A wave of calm washed over me as I realized this moment was different from anything I ever expected. Perhaps it sensed my intentions were harmless. "Hello?" I said hesitantly, unsure if it would respond. To my utter shock, Bigfoot nodded as if acknowledging my greeting. It wasn't just a nod. It was a gesture filled with understanding, as if it knew how rare this encounter was for both of us. Bigfoot's eyes were deep and expressive, carrying a weight of ancient wisdom that made me feel small yet safe. In that instant, all my preconceived notions melted away. This was no monster. This was a being with its own thoughts and feelings. The forest around us seemed to hush in reverence for what was unfolding. As we sat there in silence, I took in every detail. The thick fur covering its arms and legs, the gentle way it tilted its head to listen to me, and how its large hands rested comfortably on its knees. It felt like we were sharing a space beyond words. Something unspoken connected us both. Finally, mustering courage, I asked questions that had floated in my mind since childhood. "What are you? Why do you hide?" To my surprise, Bigfoot responded with gestures that conveyed meaning more profound than any words could describe. It pointed towards the trees and then to itself, illustrating that it was part of this world, but also separate from it. A guardian of the forest. We spent what felt like hours exchanging ideas through gestures and expressions. Bigfoot showed me how it communicated with animals and plants, using subtle signs and sounds that were nearly imperceptible to human ears. it displayed an understanding of nature's balance that amazed me. How everything is interconnected and relies on one another for survival. It shared stories about human encroachment into its territory through motioning images in the air. Pictures of once thriving landscapes now reduced to barren plots. Its expression turned somber as it illustrated how people had forgotten their role as stewards of nature. As we conversed, though not with spoken words but through gestures, I felt an unexpected kinship form between us. There was so much to learn from this majestic being about living harmoniously with nature and respecting all creatures on our planet. But amid the awe came a creeping realization. What Bigfoot revealed held more weight than mere tales of mythical creatures. The truths about humanity's impact on nature echoed hauntingly in my thoughts as time slipped away unnoticed. The sun began to set behind the trees, casting a golden glow around us. The kind that makes everything feel magical, yet fleeting. I could sense we were reaching an endpoint in our encounter. As it stood up to leave, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude mixed with sorrow. I wanted to ask more questions about life beyond these woods, or how it felt to be both feared and revered. But words failed me at that moment. Instead, I raised my hand in farewell as Bigfoot turned back toward the shadows of the trees. It paused for just a moment and looked back at me with those deep eyes filled with unspoken wisdom. The connection we had formed flickered like fireflies in the dusk before it vanished into the forest's embrace. I sat there alone in silence for a long time after Bigfoot disappeared from view. The world around me felt different. Every rustle in the underbrush sounded like whispers of truth waiting to be heard. As I slowly made my way back along the trail homeward, I couldn't shake off what happened that day. The conversation still echoed in my mind like a haunting melody. What had begun as a simple hike transformed into something far greater than I could have ever imagined. A meeting with a creature who held secrets about life itself. And those revelations would follow me long after our paths diverged in the depths of that ancient forest. As I sat in the fading light of the forest, my mind raced with questions and emotions. The encounter with Bigfoot had shattered my understanding of reality in a way I never thought possible. I felt an overwhelming sense of urgency to communicate, but how could I express the multitude of thoughts racing through my head? Just then, Bigfoot shifted its weight, breaking the silence that enveloped us. Its eyes, which seemed to shimmer with a kaleidoscope of emotions, locked onto mine. The way it regarded me was almost comforting, as if it understood my confusion. I took a deep breath and tried to relax, feeling the grass beneath me and the cool breeze that swirled around us. This was not a moment to be feared. It was an opportunity to learn. Tentatively, I raised my hand, hesitating as I wondered how to convey my thoughts. Bigfoot mirrored my action, extending its massive hand toward me. We both watched as our hands hovered in the space between us. Then, it did something unexpected. It gently placed its palm against mine, creating a bridge between our worlds. The warmth of its fur and the strength of its grip sent a shiver down my spine, igniting a spark that made time seem to slow. I began to gesture slowly, trying to convey what I wanted to ask. "What are you?" I pointed to Bigfoot and then to myself. "Why do you stay hidden?" My heart pounded as I realized how silly it was to expect answers in words. But Bigfoot seemed to understand. In response, it drew symbols in the air, using its fingers to outline shapes that danced before me like living drawings. One image illustrated a tree flourishing under sunlight, while another showed it wilting under gray skies. Bigfoot moved its hand gracefully, indicating that these trees were not just part of the scenery, but vital components of an intricate network. It seemed to suggest that everything around us relied on one another for survival: animals, plants, and even people. I watched, captivated by its storytelling. Bigfoot's gestures transformed into scenes filled with vibrant colors. Flowers blooming in spring, animals thriving in harmony, and storms rolling in like dark shadows overhead. Suddenly, the cheerful images shifted to darker ones. I saw trees falling like dominoes and rivers choked with pollution. The vibrant colors dulled into shades of gray, sending a pang through my heart. Bigfoot's expression changed too. It looked sorrowful as it mimicked the actions of humans cutting down trees and leaving behind barren landscapes. It pointed at the lifeless ground and then back at me, as if imploring me to recognize the consequences of our actions. The weight of its message settled heavily on my shoulders. Boosted by this understanding, I attempted to convey my own thoughts. I gestured towards the open sky above us, expressing hope for change. A world where humans could coexist peacefully with nature rather than dominate it. Bigfoot seemed intrigued by my enthusiasm. It nodded slowly, its eyes lighting up with a flicker of encouragement. We continued this exchange for what felt like hours. Every gesture became more fluid as our connection deepened. Bigfoot showed me how animals communicate through subtle movements and sounds, teaching me to appreciate the world around me in ways I had never considered before. In those moments, I learned that communication could transcend language. It was about intention and understanding. As we sat together in this magical clearing, time lost all meaning. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the ground. It occurred to me that this conversation was as much about listening as it was about speaking. I began to appreciate each rustle of leaves and distant call of birds as a language in its own right. With every shared story through gestures and expressions, I felt a deep kinship forming between us, a bond built on mutual respect and curiosity. It dawned on me that Bigfoot was not just a creature of legend. It was a guardian of the forest with insights far beyond anything I could have imagined. In that moment, I became acutely aware of how disconnected people often are from nature. Eventually, Bigfoot indicated that it wanted to show me something more. It stood up and beckoned me to follow. My heart raced with excitement as I rose from my log and joined it in exploring deeper into the forest. Each step we took felt momentous. The air hummed with potential. We ventured further away from the clearing into a thicket where the sunlight barely broke through the dense canopy above us. Here, Bigfoot pointed out various plants and creatures hidden from sight, the vibrant colors of mushrooms peeking through damp soil and small animals darting between bushes. It taught me how each element played a role in maintaining balance within this fragile ecosystem. As evening approached, we reached a small waterfall cascading over smooth stones. It was a hidden treasure nestled within the forest, a place few humans would likely ever witness. Bigfoot gestured toward the water with an air of reverence that spoke volumes without needing words. Standing there before the waterfall, I felt overwhelmed by the beauty surrounding us. The sound of rushing water blended harmoniously with birdsong ringing in the twilight air. It was a reminder that nature thrived in serenity. Chaos only emerged when it was disturbed. Bigfoot knelt down near the water's edge and splashed some droplets playfully into the air. There was joy in its movements, a childlike wonder that made my heart swell with admiration. In that moment, I understood why Bigfoot chose solitude. It was a protector of this beauty, existing outside the chaos of human life. But as we lingered there, absorbing the tranquility, I also sensed an underlying sadness in Bigfoot's demeanor, an awareness that such beauty was fragile and threatened by human actions. Despite our bond growing stronger through this unexpected conversation, there remained an unspoken urgency. Change was necessary for survival. As stars began to twinkle in the night sky, marking the end of our time together, I felt both grateful and heartbroken. This encounter had altered my understanding forever. A moment where two vastly different beings bridged their worlds through heartfelt gestures. With reluctance, I turned back toward our clearing where we'd first met. But before leaving this enchanting realm behind forever, I knew this wouldn't be just an experience. This was a call to action imprinted on my heart. The conversation with Bigfoot had opened my eyes to truths that would linger long after we parted ways. In those fleeting hours spent together under nature's canopy, I had not only spoken with Bigfoot, but had also discovered profound insights about existence itself, all waiting patiently for every person willing to listen beneath the whispers of trees and songs in the wind. As the sound of the waterfall faded into a gentle murmur, I sat in thoughtful silence beside Bigfoot, eager to grasp more of his unique perspective on life and nature. The forest around us pulsed with life. Each rustle of leaves and distant bird call felt like an invitation to dive deeper into the wisdom hidden within this majestic creature. Bigfoot turned its gaze toward me, and I saw a flicker of curiosity in its deep-set eyes. It seemed to sense my eagerness to learn more about its world. With a tender yet deliberate gesture, it beckoned me closer to the base of the waterfall, where vibrant moss clung to smooth stones, creating a lush carpet beneath us. This place was alive with energy, and I felt privileged to be sharing it with such an extraordinary being. As I settled by its side, Bigfoot pointed toward the rushing water, mimicking its flow with graceful movements of its hands. It illustrated how water traveled tirelessly from mountaintops to streams and rivers, nurturing everything along its path. There was a rhythm to Bigfoot's motions that captured my attention. It felt like watching nature itself dance. Then, Bigfoot used both hands to show how those waters connected various ecosystems, how fish swam upstream against currents, while trees along riverbanks stood tall in unity. I could feel a powerful message resonating through every gesture. All elements in this environment work together harmoniously. Each drop of water plays a crucial role just as each creature fulfills its purpose. Reflecting on this perspective made me think about how humans often disrupt these natural rhythms. I considered how we often build barriers and alter landscapes without recognizing their wider implications. In that moment of realization, I became acutely aware of my responsibility, not only as an observer, but also as an active participant within this web of life. Bigfoot seemed to sense my thoughts. It tilted its head slightly and gestured towards me again, indicating that it understood my struggle with these complexities. It moved closer, creating a bridge between us, an unspoken acknowledgement that we shared a common bond despite our differences. With newfound determination bubbling within me, I attempted to share my own ideas through simple gestures. I drew images in the air, an outline of trees thriving alongside wildlife, while pointing towards the ground beneath us where roots intertwined, emphasizing coexistence. Bigfoot's expression brightened. It nodded approvingly, as if encouraging my efforts. Together, we explored deeper connections, the significance of sustainability and stewardship over nature's gifts. Bigfoot demonstrated how animals nurtured each other through instinctive behaviors, how wolves hunted in packs while birds alerted nearby creatures of danger. Every action was not merely survival. It was part of a larger narrative written across generations. In awe of these lessons unfolding before me under the starlit sky, illuminating our surroundings beautifully, the silver light danced upon ripples cascading down rocks. We continued exchanging ideas through gestures filled with intention and respect for one another's wisdom. Then came another revelation. With deliberate movements mimicking growth patterns found among various plants surrounding us, Bigfoot showcased how ecosystems evolved over time, adapting change, responding gracefully, following cycles inherent throughout nature. A dance portraying resilience amidst adversity, captivatingly revealed intertwined histories present, unfurled ever towards future destinies, yet unborn. I watched intently as it drew intricate diagrams representing seasons changing, flowers blooming and wilting only for new ones sprout forth, indicating continuity forged enduring life's essence, while marveling at intricacies underlying harmony, resonating deeply within every living thing connected piece, from smallest microbes. Soil nurturing vast expanses, reaching up high drawing together, heavens above root systems deep below. Sustaining thriving, interconnected realms, flourishing vibrancy, illuminating unseen paths, traversed, often overlooked by hurried eyes. Moving through modern realities, disconnected from simpler truths, endlessly woven stars, intertwining single threads, crafting existence. Resplendent colors, blooming, vibrant dances, reflecting memories shared between realms. Unite, come together, vibrantly celebrating diversity's beauty. Enriching tapestry woven stories, embedded softly echoing wisdom called forth. Those daring souls venture forth, exploring mysteries, hidden shores, waiting discovery shorelines beyond horizons, beckoning wanderers seeking forge, new connections, embracing unveiled potential, shimmering brilliance, awaiting revelation, hearts, recognizing. Wholesome embrace, promise, unfold, clarity, touch awaken dormant dreams, softly whispering messages, convey gently nurtured passages, guiding footsteps, thoughtfully carved, awakening memories spring forth. Ripple effects gained eternity's passage time, captured seamless flow threading universal design journey, infinite artistry thrive, harmonize, nurture, share joy. Found underneath canopies glowing peacefully, awaiting brighter tomorrows, inviting seekers embrace, weave enriched futures, hand in hand eternal partnerships, forging bonds, rooted love, depth change lives, seeded hope, blossoming vibrantly spring, renewed every season. Sparks, fresh starts, dreaming together, igniting fires, passions, burning brightly, illuminate pathways, guiding visions soar, high, reach boundless sky, encouraging transformation, inspire greatness, alongside empowering embrace, lead collective journeys, ventured beyond limits, as we shared these moments under shimmering stars painting our surroundings. I felt gratitude swell within, allowing connection linger effortlessly, suspended magic, cherished forevermore. Forming sacred partnerships, people guardians resonate deeply, cultivating harmony, preserving balance, exploring legacies, birth timeless generations, passing down ancient wisdom. Breathing shared experiences, echoed humanity, uplifting spirit coaxed forth. Passion, united striving purpose, shine brighter heralds, destiny awaits, forging alliances, engage effectively. Live harmoniously, uphold values, champions dignity, honor, uplift, nurture, protect. Guided principles, sustain, thrive, symbiotic relationships, centered reciprocity. Forging strong foundations, connect bridging divides, eliminated distance, fostering understanding, cultivating respect, evolving relationships, empower. Healing reinvigorate understanding, deep roots span seasons, intricately braided, grew. Verdant vitality revealing astonishing potential, inviting larger conversations, urging shifts, perspectives, inspire collaborative efforts, enrich experiences, grow spaces, flourish magnitudes. In those fleeting hours spent sharing laughter, tears, reverence, joy, unspoken desires dwelled deeply, enriched lives. Spirits foster enduring legacies, etched canvas eternity frame joys, amorous threads, intertwined, wondrous journeys, invoke continuous discover, redefine meaning. Boundless possibilities spread wings, soaring high. Encourage others join, embrace radiate love. Nourished synchronicities unveiled, whispers sung among giants, fostering fervent commitments. Ensure realms explore beyond borders, weaving beautifully radiant tales belonging, ensuring future generations inherit treasure. Untold lifetimes, lived lovingly emboldened, stand guard cherish softly spoken promises, glow amid twilight, ushering dawn, inviting hearts, seek connect unveiling treasures, memory stitching stories, heart igniting fires, remembrance playfully bloom, flames unfurl. Invaluable tendrils gently wave throughout universe, binding us forever. United chosen voyage assembly, gathered radiant possibilities sparkle brightly. Destined hearts beat steadily pulse, rhythm forge, interwoven destinies flourish, profoundly cherished legacies crafted through adventures await. Eager explorers continue behold glorious cosmos unfold, revealing enchanting wonders. Echo traverse ethereal landscapes, endlessly etched moments, precious woven fairy tales alive, singing songs, eternal guardian dreams, arise anchored present, gracefully crafting tomorrow. Resounding whispers securing pathways, inviting dialogues unite, create luminous futures, beckon release hearts soar endlessly wherever journey leads, shaping around vibrant dreams, glowing beneath celestial canopy, forever illuminating lives. Spark adventure invites awe-filled spirit. As I sat beside Bigfoot, the weight of our conversation settled heavily in my chest. The emotions stirred within me were powerful, unlike anything I had ever experienced before. It was not merely the awe of meeting a legend. It was the profound understanding that came with it. A realization that I had been granted access to a world filled with wisdom and insight. Bigfoot's gestures told stories of nature's interconnectedness, and as I absorbed each movement, I felt my own heart resonate with the pulse of the forest around us. Yet, alongside this newfound awareness came a deep sense of sorrow for the environment and the damage humanity had inflicted upon it. This sadness felt like a heavy cloak wrapped tightly around my shoulders, an emotional burden that was both painful and cleansing. Tears began to well in my eyes as I recalled images of deforested landscapes, polluted rivers, and endangered species. Each thought was like a wave crashing over me, overwhelming and relentless. I had always known about these issues on a surface level, but now they pierced through my defenses, exposing the vulnerability of our planet and the weight of responsibility that rested on our shoulders. Feeling vulnerable but safe in Bigfoot's presence, I let those tears flow freely. It was as if the act of crying released some of the pressure that had built up inside me over years spent ignoring or dismissing environmental concerns. Bigfoot seemed to sense my turmoil. Its large hand gently landed on my back, offering comfort and solidarity without uttering a single word. This simple gesture reassured me that it understood my pain and frustration, an acknowledgement that we shared a common goal: protecting this beautiful earth. In that moment of raw emotion, I realized how important it was to express these feelings rather than hide them away. Bigfoot's silent support encouraged me to embrace my vulnerability and transform it into something meaningful. It was a reminder that emotions carry weight. They can drive change if we allow ourselves to feel deeply enough. With newfound determination rising within me, I wiped my tears and took a deep breath. I wanted to convey hope. Hope for change, for healing, for a future where humans could coexist with nature instead of exploiting it. Drawing from the depths of my heart, I began to use gestures again, illustrating my vision for restoration. I mimicked planting seeds in soil, each seed representing an act of kindness toward our environment. As they sprouted into vibrant plants under the sun's warm glow, I visualized communities coming together to care for their surroundings, to nurture rather than harm. Bigfoot watched intently, nodding along as if encouraging this blossoming dream. I then gestured towards Bigfoot itself, the guardian of this forest, and expressed how vital its existence was in reminding humanity of its connection to nature. My hands danced in the air as I described how creatures like Bigfoot embody the spirit of the wild. Protectors who understand life's delicate balance better than any human ever could. With every movement, I felt an emotional release, a cathartic cleansing as hope surged through me like bright sunlight piercing clouds after a storm. The shadows that loomed over my heart began to lift slightly as visions of possibility filled my mind. Parks flourishing with children playing among trees, rivers flowing clear and teeming with life. People living harmoniously with nature instead of against it. Bigfoot responded with an enthusiastic display. It mimicked laughter when it mirrored my joyful expressions. Its eyes sparkled with encouragement, as if signaling we could make these dreams come true together. It felt like we were partners united by purpose, a bridge between two worlds coming together in pursuit of something beautiful. Yet amid all this hope arose another emotion: fear. Fear that we might not have enough time to enact change before it was too late. The urgency gnawed at me like gnats buzzing incessantly around an open flame. What if humanity continued down its destructive path? What if future generations never experienced nature's wonder as I had? Feeling overwhelmed once more by this fear, I shared these thoughts with Bigfoot through gestures, pointing outward at the expanse of trees surrounding us while tracing lines in the air showing how quickly things could change for the worse if we did nothing. The urgency rang clear between us. It became another thread woven into our shared tapestry of emotion. Bigfoot's response was immediate. It raised its arms wide open toward the night sky above us. In doing so, it reminded me that while change might be daunting, there is strength in unity. The stars twinkled brightly down upon us. They seemed to echo our hopes and fears alike, tiny beacons guiding our way forward amid uncertainty. In that moment, I sensed an electric energy humming between us, a powerful reminder that even in darkness lies potential. With determination ignited anew by this realization, I vowed silently to take action beyond this encounter, finally empowered by both joy and trepidation. I allowed myself to dream bigger than ever before. This experience would not merely remain etched within memory. It would serve as a catalyst driving me forward, to engage others in conversations about environmental stewardship as our time together drew closer to an end under those shimmering stars. The emotional impact lingered powerfully throughout each fiber of my being. Ideas swirled around like leaves caught up in autumn winds. My heart brimmed with gratitude for Bigfoot's wisdom shared so freely during those hours spent together. We exchanged final gestures, hands reaching out once more, confirming unspoken promises made amidst whispers carried upon gentle breezes, urging forth connection forged through experiences, guiding futures awaiting exploration. And just like that, the moment faded as Bigfoot slowly retreated back into the depths of its world, a guardian watching carefully over all creatures great and small. As silence enveloped me once again beneath those stars, I knew this encounter would haunt me, but in the best way possible. It awakened something within, a deeper understanding coupled with emotional resonance, forever guiding choices made, illuminating paths chosen along journeys yet unknown, beckoning hopeful beginnings, time unfold before embarking future adventures, nurturing relationships, cultivating legacies, ones built on love, respect, harmony, connectedness, honoring every precious breath shared amongst fellow beings, enlivened by nature's grace, alive, welcoming embrace. As I left the magical clearing where I'd encountered Bigfoot, the weight of what I had learned began to settle heavily on my heart. The emotional interactions we had shared played like a reel in my mind, each frame filled with insights that challenged my understanding of life, both human and natural. The deeper I delved into these reflections, the more haunting realizations emerged. Insights that would linger long after my return to civilization. Walking back through the forest, shadows danced around me, and every rustle in the underbrush felt amplified, a reminder of the delicate balance that existed all around. I recalled Bigfoot's gestures illustrating how every element of nature worked together harmoniously. It was a poignant reminder that the flora and fauna surrounding me were not merely objects in a landscape, but integral parts of a vast, living system. But what made this realization haunting was the contrasting image of humanity's footprint, irreparable scars left by our relentless pursuits. I thought about the deforestation happening around the world, trees being chopped down without a second thought, ecosystems destroyed in the name of progress. Each laborious strike against nature resonated painfully within me, a stark reminder of our role as both caretakers and destroyers. As I walked, I could almost hear Bigfoot's silent admonition echoing in my mind. You must recognize the impact of your actions. The truth weighed heavily upon me. Although I longed for change and healing, the path seemed littered with obstacles. This led to an undeniable sense of urgency. What if we were too late? What if future generations looked back on our time with disdain, unable to comprehend how we could have neglected the earth? Though I had felt hope during my conversation with Bigfoot, it was intertwined with an overwhelming sense of fear. The prospect that we might lose species forever haunted me. Animals whose songs would fade into silence, never to be heard again, or plants that would not bloom another season. The thought pierced my heart sharply, and I felt tears threaten once more as images flooded my mind. Melting glaciers, dry rivers, and barren land where vibrant ecosystems once thrived. With each step, clarity washed over me about how easily people dismiss these issues when they don't directly impact their lives. My own actions sometimes fell short. I had been part of this cycle of neglect without even realizing it. Each time I chose convenience over sustainability or turned a blind eye to environmental injustices, I contributed to this growing chasm. As I reflected on these haunting realizations, another thought surfaced. A recognition that change begins within ourselves. It wasn't enough to simply feel sorrow or express hopes for others to act. Genuine transformation requires commitment towards sustainable choices in our own lives. We must actively embrace responsibility rather than wait for someone else to take charge. Bigfoot's presence remained vivid in my memory. The guardian of the forest who understood life's delicate interconnectedness far better than so many humans do. If Bigfoot could exist as a protector while remaining hidden from human eyes, then surely I too could embody that spirit through small acts within my community. But just as quickly as those uplifting thoughts emerged, doubt crept back in like fog rolling over the hills. Would anyone listen? Would grassroots efforts make any difference against giants, corporations fueled by greed, voices drowned out by relentless media cycles flooded with information? Yet beneath those doubts simmered something powerful: hope, a flicker ignited within. A desire to drive change by raising awareness among family and friends about preserving our planet's beauty. Perhaps through conversations about sustainable practices or sharing knowledge about local wildlife habitats, we could breathe life into discussions surrounding stewardship. The haunting realizations began transforming into guiding lights, illuminating paths forward, all stemming from that encounter beside Bigfoot at the waterfall. As I reached the edge of the forest and stepped back onto the trail leading toward civilization, determination surged within me. I could be a voice for change. Inspired by my time with Bigfoot and driven by emotions swirling wildly inside me. This awakening reinforced my commitment to protecting nature alongside humanity's rightful place within it. Walking onward towards my destination felt different now. I sensed purpose infused into each step taken across concrete pavement, winding away from trees towering behind me. The chatter echoing from nearby neighborhoods seemed louder, yet somehow muted against newfound clarity resting deep down, reminding me what truly mattered. In those moments spent reflecting while moving forward within this journey, shadows receded further into pasts etched indelibly upon landscapes before us. Their warnings whispered gently, inviting all who venture forward embrace harmony, intertwined beneath starlit skies, glowing brightly, illuminating hearts, built courage rising like phoenix, soaring above valleys, embracing uplifted aspirations, forging connections, rooted firmly brought forth hope, reborn. Promising brighter tomorrows awaiting. The haunting realizations gained alongside wisdom imparted lingered vividly. They wished not only merely express themselves, but propel me forward, to inspire future generations, cherish this beautiful earth we share. As I pressed onward through familiar streets, shadowed by anticipation blooming bright ahead, I felt Bigfoot's spirit guiding me resolutely, pushing forth towards transformative change, passionately strive, join covenants, honor entrusted legacies, nurture, preserve awakened utterances, echoing softly, whisper memories, reminding, always protect treasures, embraced effortlessly, passed along vibrant children, discovering joy, nurtured, inspire, cultivate respect, branches spread wide, children play open fields, once again, pathways glittering, beckoning multitude adventures await. My encounter would be forever woven into who I am. A reminder daily reigniting passion for justice, resonating deeply beyond surface truths, inviting all, explore, seek, unite collective journeys, fulfill potential, rise unity, blooms deep within, tending, nurturing compassion. Throughout world splendor, rising, ever forward, evolve, thrive. Let hearts resonate, singing songs, love, enduring, freely shared, beautifully. Blessed forever, boundless hopes, wrapping arms around planet, breathe tenderly, forge alliances, crafted, kindness, courageously, uplift, inspire transformation, transcend limits, flourish, harmonize, illuminate shared destiny, awaiting journeys woven. As I made my way back home, the echoes of my encounter with Bigfoot lingered in every thought and action. The forest felt different now, as if it were alive with whispers urging me to pay attention. Each rustle of leaves and chirp of birds seemed to hold deeper meaning, reminding me of the interconnectedness Bigfoot had illustrated so vividly. The experience was no longer just a fleeting moment. It had transformed into a catalyst for change within me. In the days that followed, I found myself reflecting more deeply on my habits and lifestyle choices. I began to notice how often I had taken nature for granted, treating it as a backdrop rather than an integral part of my existence. Each time I saw litter on the ground or plastic bottles floating in streams, I felt a pang of guilt rise within me. I understood now that these issues weren't just about the environment, but about our shared responsibility to protect the world we inhabit. Determined to act on the inspiration I had gained from my meeting with Bigfoot, I started small. I organized cleanup days at local parks, inviting friends and family to join me in restoring the beauty of our community spaces. Together, we picked up trash, planted flowers, and painted signs to educate others about sustainability. With each event, the sense of purpose inside me grew stronger. I felt like I was nurturing seeds of change, not just for the environment, but also within people's hearts. As word spread, more individuals joined our efforts. Conversations blossomed about eco-friendly practices, recycling, and conservation, Friends who had previously been indifferent began to express interest in reducing waste and supporting local businesses that prioritized sustainability. It was as if the spirit of Bigfoot had kindled a fire within us all, a shared desire to honor nature and be stewards of our planet. Through these activities, I frequently reflected on my time with Bigfoot. The creature represented resilience and wisdom. It had shown me what it meant to exist harmoniously with nature. This perspective became a guiding principle in my daily life. Whenever faced with a choice, whether to purchase single-use plastics or seek alternatives, I would pause and think about what Bigfoot might symbolize: respect for life in all its forms. However, not every moment was filled with optimism or success. There were setbacks and challenges that sometimes felt insurmountable. Conversations with skeptics turned confrontational. Some people resisted change or dismissed environmental issues entirely. It was disheartening at times to witness apathy in those who seemed content, ignoring their impact on the world around them. Yet through each struggle, I returned to those haunting realizations birthed from my time beside Bigfoot. The knowledge that even small actions matter, the spirit of perseverance that resonated from our encounter, reminded me that transformation takes time and often begins with one person's commitment to make a difference. Determined to continue spreading awareness, I sought opportunities beyond my immediate circle. Community workshops emerged where we discussed everything from composting techniques to wildlife preservation methods. Schools welcomed us in to teach children about local ecosystems and the importance of protecting them. Witnessing young faces light up with curiosity about nature reignited hope within me. They carried the potential for tomorrow's change. Some weekends were spent hiking through different trails across the Pacific Northwest. My way of reconnecting with nature while celebrating its beauty amid gradual healing efforts unfolding around me. On one such journey, as sunlight filtered through towering trees, casting playful shadows on the ground, I felt a familiar sense of tranquility enveloping me, a reminder of that pivotal moment spent beside Bigfoot. I found myself longing for another chance encounter, an opportunity to share how our connection inspired tangible change. Perhaps Bigfoot was still watching over these woods, guiding us as we strive toward harmony once more. As months passed since my fateful meeting, reflections deepened further still. I'd begun documenting experiences inspired by this adventure through writing. Crafting letters filled with ideas sparked by environmental reflections transformed into essays aimed at raising consciousness surrounding ecological issues permeating communities far beyond mine. With every word penned down came renewed clarity surrounding purpose. Environmentalism extended well beyond mere facts. It embodied passion, love for Earth woven intricately together, creating vibrant legacies destined to flourish generations ahead. I envisioned sharing this story of how one conversation could ripple into myriad paths diverging toward restoration. How wisdom imparted during those hours could ignite fires across landscapes, bringing forth collective awakening. Beckoning souls unite compassionate causes, nurturing balance toward brighter futures, illuminated, guided shared destiny, awaiting exploration. The emotional impact never faded. It transformed, continuously shaping who I became. A driving force pushing forth leading hearts, connect, forge alliances, nurture understanding, weave bridging experiences, crafted upon foundations, grounded compassion, igniting movements, elevating visions, inspiring dreams, blossom paradoxically intertwined, reflecting limitless possibilities, await active participants, committed stewarding precious earth, entrusted legacy, preserved beauty. As seasons changed outside, the world moved forward with gentle grace. I understood deeply that this journey wouldn't cease simply because I'd left that magical clearing behind. Rather, It blossomed into something greater than I dared imagine when stepping first foot across threshold toward wild, enveloped by mystery grace, radiating joy, illuminating paths long forgotten. My heart brimmed with gratitude for having encountered Bigfoot. Not only did it challenge perspectives and beliefs, but gifted timeless truths, echoed call awakenings, nurture, reverence, protect, restore humanity. Cultivating profound relationships, rooted respect, embrace harmony amidst wonders, waiting patiently. Reveal whenever we dared, look beyond surface realities, breathe love tenderly, wrap around understanding, wisdom, knowledgeable, ever-shining bright glimmer, guiding stars, illuminating journeys, boldly venture forth, connected eternally, guardianship flourishing endlessly grow. Together boundless echoes resonate, weave vibrant tales, stories once shared anew, whispered softly upon winds, embracing adventures, blooming enchanting futures, cherished, remembered forevermore. The weeks following my transformative encounter with Bigfoot were filled with a whirlwind of thoughts and feelings. While I felt empowered to make changes in my life and inspire others, I was also aware of the skepticism that surrounded discussions about mythical creatures and environmentalism. This duality lingered in my mind like a shadow, prompting me to reflect on both belief and skepticism. As I engaged in conversations with friends and community members about the importance of environmental stewardship, I encountered varying reactions. Some people were genuinely intrigued. They listened intently as I shared stories from my time in the forest, painted vivid pictures of Bigfoot's wisdom, and discussed the interconnectedness of nature. Their curiosity often opened doors for deeper discussions about our responsibilities toward the environment. But there were also skeptics. Those who rolled their eyes at the mention of Bigfoot or dismissed my experience as mere fantasy. They questioned how anyone could believe in something so elusive, so shrouded in legend. At first, this skepticism stung. After all, I had experienced something profound that had changed me at my core. I began to understand that belief is a deeply personal journey, shaped by individual experiences and perspectives. For some, believing in Bigfoot represented hope, a reminder that there are still mysteries left in this world waiting to be discovered. For others, it symbolized naivety or wishful thinking. These contrasting viewpoints made me realize how storytelling can be a powerful tool for connection, yet it can also spark division among people. Despite these mixed reactions, I remained steadfast in sharing what I had learned from Bigfoot. The creature had shown me not just the importance of protecting nature, but also the value of respecting diverse beliefs. It became evident that fostering understanding required patience and openness, qualities that could bridge gaps between skeptics and believers alike. I started hosting small gatherings where everyone was encouraged to share their thoughts on nature, myths, and environmental issues without judgment. We would sit around a fire pit under starlit skies, much like I had done with Bigfoot, and exchange ideas freely. These discussions allowed us to explore not only our beliefs, but also our doubts and fears regarding the future of our planet. During one such gathering, a friend voiced concerns about climate change. The scientific data outlining rising temperatures seemed overwhelming compared to folklore or mythical creatures like Bigfoot. Her skepticism was rooted in facts she couldn't ignore. It sparked an important dialogue about how we can balance science with stories that inspire action. I shared my encounter as an example of how stories can ignite passion for change, a way to connect emotionally with something greater than ourselves, while acknowledging hard truths grounded in reality. In doing so, I emphasized that believing in change doesn't require blind faith. It requires awareness followed by action. The more we talked, the more we found common ground between science and spirituality, between belief systems born from empirical evidence and those shaped by human experience. This blending of perspectives created a richer understanding of our responsibility toward the Earth, while honoring diverse narratives woven throughout cultures across history. Yet even as we celebrated these moments together, bonding over shared commitments, I sensed lingering doubts among some attendees. Would our efforts truly make a difference? Could passionate conversations lead to meaningful change amid global challenges seemingly insurmountable? These concerns echoed within me too. They reminded me of fears born after encountering Bigfoot, the urgency for action tempered by worries about whether individuals could collectively shift boundaries governing humanity's destructive habits. What if we failed? What if apathy prevailed while species vanished into oblivion? In confronting these doubts head-on during our gatherings, I began reflecting on resilience found amidst stories told through ages past. The narratives passed down through generations often highlighted humankind's ability to adapt, to rise against adversity time after time. This realization became pivotal. It reassured me that even amid skepticism lies potential for growth. If people could find inspiration within tales spun from mythos surrounding wondrous creatures like Bigfoot, then surely they could also embrace scientific realities demanding change. With each gathering focused on bridging beliefs together, we cultivated an atmosphere steeped not only acceptance, but celebration. Celebrating differences linked us tightly, weaving communal fabric, resonating harmoniously throughout lives, lived consciously engaged, actively nurturing harmony, fostered respect, reverberated continuously through shared experiences, igniting purpose. As months turned into seasons past, I continued documenting reflections inspired by both belief skeptics alike. My writings evolved into essays intertwining personal insights along scientific findings, showcasing how folklore merges seamlessly with ecological truths. Crafting compelling arguments, urging readers take action, preserve beauty, integrated life forms, flourishing symbiotically. By articulating connections between lore and reality, I hope to inspire others' journeys unfold naturally, embracing nuances, exploring identities, tied intricately woven dreams, blooming together, create legacies meant flourish, evolve, endlessly illuminate, guiding stars, radiate vibrant paths, inviting exploration, connected harmoniously, engage joyfully, celebrating unity, strength forged across cultures, histories transcending limitations, envisioned boundless futures awaiting discovery. Through this process, the haunting realizations birthed from my encounter became less burdensome. They transformed into motivating forces, urging perseverance, fostering deeper relationships, grounded mutual respect, nurturing, understanding, elevating consciousness toward collective aspirations, brightening horizons, illuminating destinies, interwoven, promising brighter tomorrows. My heart swelled with gratitude for having encountered Bigfoot, not merely because it provided lessons on environmental stewardship, but ultimately because it challenged perceptions around belief, encouraging exploration beyond boundaries, shaping identities, rich narratives, encouraging awakenings, bridging divides, affirming interconnectedness, binding all beings, thriving within Earth's embrace, as guardians dedicated tirelessly, nurturing sustainable futures, glowing brightly ahead. As I stood at the edge of the forest, reflecting on my journey since that unforgettable encounter with Bigfoot, I felt a sense of resolve wash over me. The lessons learned during our time together had become foundational pillars in my life, guiding my actions and thoughts toward a greater purpose. But now, it was time to take what I had learned and turn it into a call to action. Not just for myself, but for everyone around me. The world is facing immense challenges: climate change, loss of biodiversity, pollution, and habitat destruction. Each day brings news of species vanishing forever or ecosystems collapsing under the weight of human activity. These are not just headlines. They are urgent calls for change that we cannot afford to ignore. If my encounter with Bigfoot taught me anything, it was that we have a responsibility to protect the fragile web of life that sustains us all. I envisioned a future where people recognize their interconnectedness with nature, where we actively seek harmony rather than dominance over our environment. But this vision requires collective effort. It demands that each person understands their role in stewardship and takes action accordingly. It starts with small steps that ripple outward into larger movements. I decided to organize an event in my community, a Nature Day dedicated to celebrating our local environment and fostering awareness about conservation efforts. The idea was simple. Invite everyone to participate in activities that would connect them with nature, while also educating them on how to protect it. We planned guided hikes through local trails where participants could learn about native plants and wildlife from knowledgeable volunteers. We set up booths featuring local environmental organizations sharing information about sustainability practices, conservation efforts, and ways individuals could get involved. Art stations would allow children and adults alike to create pieces inspired by nature, reminders of beauty that surrounds us daily. But beyond these activities, I wanted this event to serve as a platform for discussion, a gathering space where stories could be shared about personal connections to nature. I hoped attendees would feel empowered by their experiences and ignite a spark within them to advocate for change. As I reached out to local businesses and organizations for support, I was met with enthusiasm. Many were excited about the opportunity to contribute, whether through donations or volunteering their time, eagerly joining forces towards this community-driven goal. On the day of the event, excitement buzzed in the air as families arrived ready to explore. Children raced towards art stations, while adults engaged with representatives from environmental organizations, eager to share knowledge surrounding sustainability. Laughter echoed throughout the park as guided hikes commenced weaving through paths lined with towering trees, providing shade against warm sun. When it came time for our group discussions, the atmosphere grew contemplative, yet charged with hope. Attendees shared stories about their own encounters in nature, from camping trips spent under starry skies to quiet moments watching wildlife flourish. Each narrative echoing themes found within folklore, connecting hearts tied deeply, respect harmony residing naturally among all beings. Afterward, when discussions shifted towards action, the room pulsed vibrantly, fueled by passion. Ideas flowed freely. How can we reduce plastic use? What steps can we take towards more sustainable living? How do we engage younger generations in nurturing love for Earth? It became abundantly clear. People yearned not only for connection, but also guidance on how best navigate these challenges facing us today. The conversations ignited something powerful. A sense of unity emerged among participants, realizing together they were capable of effecting real change. By the end of our Nature Day, I felt an overwhelming gratitude wash over me, witnessing firsthand transformation unfold before my eyes. Lives intertwined as commitments solidified, pledging support, nurture, protect landscape, entrusted guardianship, beholden humanity's promises etched indelibly upon shared legacies protecting beauty. But as elation filled my heart, an unsettling thought crept back into mind. Was this enough? Would one event really inspire lasting change, or merely serve as a momentary burst of enthusiasm? This question haunted me like shadows lurking beyond light. But instead of succumbing fear, I embraced resolve born alongside those haunting realizations gained through transformative encounters, reminding me perseverance essential amid skepticism too. I understood then that every movement begins small. Even ripples from one person's commitment can grow into waves transforming entire communities. Our stories matter. They connect us across divides, bridging gaps between belief systems, shaping identities, while nurturing relationships born out. Trust, respect, establishing solidarity, grounded purpose. As months passed after Nature Day, I continued documenting experiences, deriving inspiration, reflecting lessons gained, intertwining narratives, advocating change, weaving tales, illuminating pathways, collective journeys, strive forge brighter futures ahead. With every word written, I embraced power storytelling holds. A means connecting hearts, minds, leading toward action, inspiring others, join forces creating ripples, ultimately cultivate transformative shifts, redefining perceptions surrounding involvement, stewardship nature. Simultaneously, amidst excitement brewing around events unfolding forward, my thoughts returned repeatedly back Bigfoot. The guardian who embodied wisdom, showing how coexistence thrives harmoniously within realms vast, astonishingly beautiful surrounding existence. Inviting exploration, discovery, waiting patiently, reveal hidden treasures beneath surface realities. This reflection inspired one final thought. We must remain open-minded when navigating complexities confronting society today, embracing diverse beliefs, finding common ground, rooted shared aspirations, fostering unity, strength, illuminating paths ahead, beckoning adventures await, forging relationships, grounded compassion, adamant advocate, nurture, preserve. What remains sacred, vibrant, unite soaring beyond limits, infinite possibilities ahead. Now beckoning all willing explore connectedness, nurtured foster, transformed, harmoniously eternal guardianship. Flourishing, endlessly grow together, sustaining earth, entrusted legacies, protecting beauty, illuminating futures, blooming bright ahead, revealing wonders yet unfold.